everyone. Today we're going to discuss, and I'm going to show you, how to create a buffing NPC character. So we're going to start off with talking about what you need to be able to do that. So first you need to have your server set up, and you need to be an administrator on your server. I suggest doing this on a test server that's not in production for other people to play on. That's what we're doing here today. And I'm going to use this Path Warden character here as the template for my buff bot. And I also use this a lot. This is called Ace Content Creator. And Ace Content Creator can be downloaded from their GitHub page. So it's github.com, Harlick Ace Creator. If you scroll to the bottom, you can go to download the newest release here. You can just download the newest release, the Ace DLL here. You can get the source code if you'd like, but this is all you need, is this DLL. And then if you go to the wiki on here, it will explain how to install this. So if you go ahead and get that, it makes life a lot easier. I'll show you how to do it without it as well. So first things first, we're going to select this character. We're going to ID that character. That's very important for doing it by hand here. And then we're just going to type in the command get info. And when we do that, this is going to return the WCID, the weenie ID, 33616. So now we can export that as a SQL file using the following command. So we're going to do this. We're going to do export -SQL, and then we're going to put in that WCID 33616. So now it's been exported to my server contents SQL weenies SQL script here. So we'll go ahead and navigate over to that. So we'll go to Ace server contents SQL weenies, and I think it creates this file structure for you if you don't have it already, so don't be concerned about that. And then here is our file. So now that I have the file, I'm going to go ahead and exit the game. First I'll show you how to do it with this creator. You click on the creator, click on the person, get ID, there's their ID there. Then you can just click on export SQL. When you export SQL, it goes to it does exactly the same thing that I just did. Okay. So now I'm just going to go ahead and exit the server, and we'll start working with our Path Warden SQL script here. Now I'm using Notepad++, but you can do it in any text editor. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change this ID. Now there's a list of IDs that you can get, but on your own server while testing, this isn't too important other than, one that doesn't exist. So we're just going to use 999999. There we go. That probably doesn't exist. I mean, if it does, who cares, because we're just testing anyway. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on this to highlight it. I'm going to just Control H to replace, and I'm going to replace 33616 with the 9s. And now you have to be careful not to accidentally replace things over here. Things like this, if they had a pattern of 33616, it's going to change those, it's going to mess things up. So just be careful that it only does what you want. So we're going to go replace all of those. Looks good. From here, I'm just going to change this name a bit. I'm going to call it like, I don't know, Biffity. Biffity the Buffer. Now I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to change the name of this person to Path Warden Biffity. And I'm going to make them a Path Warden Buffer. All right, this is just a name that's given it. This template is just, I don't know why it says template, but I guess you can make up your own template. So Path Warden Buffer. Okay, I'm gonna leave all this. I'm gonna leave all this. I'm gonna leave, you know, we don't need to worry about any of that stuff. And then we're gonna get right here. If you select the, you know, first area in this, it looks like line 98 if you're using the same one, but if you're using the insert too, we're going to get rid of these emote things because we don't need them at all. So all we need is one weenie properties emote. So we're just going to keep this one, maybe keep this emote action because we don't need to, we need one. So we'll keep these three. I'll select here. I'm just going to select all of it all the way to the bottom. I'm just going to keep going. This has a lot. And then I'm just going to get rid of this. Don't need any of it. Okay. This right here is their create list. This is like stuff that they're going to wear. And, you know, you can look up what you want them to wear. I'm just going to leave this stuff. Nah, you know what? I'm going to change them because I have some standard stuff that I use. So I'm just going to change this 73 to 40455. This is like a robe. This is just a robe that I am going to use. I use it a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and change this to robe just to keep in good practice. I'm going to change this to 40455. I'm going to get rid, I'm going to push enter here to keep this at the bottom so that I don't accidentally delete it, you know, when I'm making adjustments. That has to be there for MySQL or it'll fail. So we're just going to leave that right there because we have all these others. So I don't want these leggings anymore. I don't need them. So I'm going to replace this with my standard wand, which is just an Academy wand that I normally use, which is 12.759. And so 12.759 over here as well, 12.759. And I'm just going to call this wand. Okay, so now our character is going to wear a robe and a wand. So they are going to look a little different than the original there. So that'll be fine. So now we're going to go ahead and work on these weenie property emote. All right, so 5 is heartbeat. What we're looking to do is change it to a use because we want our NPC to be able to be used. So I'm going to put that as a 7, and 7 is use. Okay, or use. And then this is, if you count the commas, 1, 2, 3. This is the third 1, 2, 3 probability. Well, we only have one of these, so we're going to make the probability 100%. Okay, so that's very important that you do that. All this other stuff that they have here, non-combat, you know, ready, position, all that. We don't need any of that, so I'm just going to switch all of this just to nulls because we don't want anything in there. Okay. Now that we've got a use, and up here if you look, there's going to be a radius somewhere, a use radius in this stuff because this NPC could be used, and usually the use radius is 3. But it should be in there somewhere. I don't know. I'm not going to look for it. This should work. And then the next thing we're going to do is, so the weenie property emote action. So this one is how you actually do tells and, you know, move the NPC and cast spells and things like that, is all with this piece here. So we don't need this motion, I think what we're going to do is we're going to have the NPC turn to target. So that's 12. So turn to target. And the target would be whoever clicked on it. So your player. Okay. From there, we're going to just leave. Well, we're going to change this. This is, if we look, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a delay, right? So do we need a delay for them to turn? Nah. Let's just take that delay away. Then the next thing is extent. I'm just going to leave it a 1. I'm absolutely not sure what exactly it does, so I'm just going to leave it as a 1. We don't need the NPC to be twitching, so we'll go ahead and turn that off as well. And then everything else we want to make sure is just null. And now this will have the NPC turn to target. And like I did before, I'm going to move this semicolon to the bottom so I don't accidentally delete it as I'm doing more things. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click in the front, shift, I'm going to click, and I'm going to press the end key so I can select this whole line. I'm going to copy that line, and I'm just going to move it down and reuse it so I don't have to do all that typing. So here, you're going to put a comma, a space, line it up with the other one, okay? Now this right here is the order. It's very important. If you don't set the order correctly, you'll get an error when you try to load this. So we want to do 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, however many we have. So we have 0, 1. We're going to change 12 because we don't need a turn anymore. So we're going to tell. Tell is 10. So now we're going to tell. And we don't need to have a delay on the tell. And we'll just leave this 1. I always leave this 1. And then we're going to put in our message. So to put in our message, we're going to go here, which is, if you count over, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Up here, if you wanted to see what it was, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's our message, see? So here we can just put whatever, hold still, right? Hold still. Don't. Make sure you put a double single apostrophe here, or single quote mark, so that it or you'll have an error, you'll have a problem. So 2 of those. Hold still. I don't want to kill you. All right, and now that's what our NPC will turn to you. Then they'll tell you to hold still because they don't want to kill you. Okay. Same thing. I'm going to click here, hold down the shift key, hit end. I'm going to copy the whole row. And then I'm going to move down and paste so that I don't have to do all that typing. I'm going to change this back to a null. I'm going to change this to sequence or order number 2. So we have 0, 1, 2. Now we're going to cast a spell. Casting a spell with motion is 14. Now you don't want to do this for every spell or it'll take a long time for your buff bot to buff. So this is cast spell with motion. Oop. Okay, so I always do that on the first one just so that there's some kind of, spell casting look to it. So that's what I do. And then we want to delay. We'll give them the player 1 second to see what was typed out there. So right now what we have is turn to target, tell, cast a spell with motion, and then we have to put in what spell do we want to cast. So if we look up here, we can go, we can figure out where we need to put that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So we have to go over 21 and go ahead and put in our spell ID. So I'm going to count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay, so this is where we're going to put our spell in right here. So for now, I'm just going to put some space holders there, and then we're going to look up a spell. So you can look up spell IDs using a few different places, but I usually just use asheron.phantom.com, which I'm just going to paste in there. Okay, so from here, you just scroll down, figure out what spells you want. Come down, down, down. Okay, so here we have, those are war spells, void magic. Here we go, attribute spells. Let's look at some strength spells. Let's look at, I guess, this one. So we're gonna look at strength spells. We're gonna go down and look for Might of 5 Mules, because that is the target. So you're casting on a target, your NPC will be casting on a target, not itself. So you want to make sure you choose the one with target. This increases target strength by 40 points. The name is Might of the 5 Mules. This is the spell ID. So I'm going to copy this spell ID. I'm going to go back to our script. I'm going to go to my placeholder. I'm going to go ahead and put in that spell there. And then what I'm going to do, just to be safe, is I'm going to put in a note. It's going to tell me that I'm casting Might of the 5 Mules. So I'm going to put that in there. So now I know that that's what that is. And really, that's all there is to casting the first spell. 14, put in the spell ID that you want. Now I'm going to do another spell so I can show you how to do the way I do all other spells, just so that it goes really quick. So Shift End again, copy, go down a line, paste it all in there. I got it all set up again. Now what we're going to do this time is change 14 to 19. 19 is cast spell, but it's instant. So you instant cast spell. That way there's nothing there. So when we cast a spell with motion, we had a delay, right? So we have our delay of 1. Well, we don't want to do that every single time. So here I'm going to put a delay of, like, I don't know, 0.1. 0.1. So that way it's going to cast like 10 every second or whatever, which is much better if you have a lot of spells casting, right? So I'm just going to 0.01. You can do 0.05. You could probably do 0.05 even, but oops. 0.05, but I'm just going to do 0.1. Okay, so cast instant spell. I'm going to go back to that site. I got a strength spell. Let's look up a coordination spell. Looking at coordination spells, I think it's level 7's like Boon of Refinement or something. There it is, Boon of Refinement. Increase target's coordination by 40 points. 2058. So I'm going to go ahead and change it to 2058. Again, just to be in good practice, I'm going to put the description of the spell in so that we can see that. Boon of Refinement. And now we have 2 spells. So we have, oh, don't forget to do this. All right, so we got order 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3. Turn to target, tell the target, cast the first spell, cast the second spell, and you can cast as many spells as you like, but what I'm going to do is just end this with another tell. So Shift End, copy. I'm just going to just going to go to create another line, paste, and then we're going to change this to 4. So our fourth thing is we're just going to do another tell, which is 10, and this time we're just going to say something like, good luck. I hope you don't end up at the Lifestone. There we go. And then this bracket here, this right here is absolutely essential. You got to make sure that you have your ending semicolon. And this is it. This should do it. So I'm just going to go ahead and save this. Now what it'll do is going to change. It's going to create a new path, a new weenie ID in the system with an ID of 999999. Okay. Since we created it, since we made all of our adjustments right here in our weenies file, that's where it'll be. So I'm just going to change the name of this. It's going to be 999999 path warden, and we're going to just call it buffer. Okay, so it's in our ACE server content SQL weenies folder. Okay, now that we have that, we can just go ahead and start up the server. When you start the server, you want to look to see that that's being loaded, and you want to see the word complete. If you see the word error, there'll be an error message after it. It'll tell you what you did wrong. Most of the time, if you're following this tutorial, it'll be the sequence out of order. So let's go ahead, and now that we have the world open and we know that it processed without any errors, we'll go ahead and launch the game. And we're going to connect to our test server here, go into the game. And all right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to just create, we're not going to create an instance, we're just going to create it so we can see it, our character. So / create, and then our ID, 1 2 3 4 5 6 9s. And there is our path warden Biffity, wearing the robe, having the wand, looks just similar to this one. For some reason the head always changes every time, but it is what it is. Double click to test out. Hold still, I don't want to kill you. There was the animation and the 2 spells went off. Good luck. I hope you don't end up at the Lifestone. Success. No issues. Here's the path warden robe and the academy wand that this character's wearing. If you want to get those IDs, we can just select them, and then we can type in get info, and it tells you it's 40455, and again get info 12759. Another way is if you got the creator, you can just select it, say get info, and there we go. Select it, get info, there they are. So now you've been able to create a path warden Biffity buffer. Hopefully you've enjoyed this tutorial. Please like and subscribe. See you next time.